Okay, hi everybody, this is Zeta Wong. I'm recording this for our discussion, final discussion, and the movie was assigned to me, Let the Fire Burn. So Let the Fire Burn is a documentary released on 2013 regarding what is known today as a radical movement or organization known as the Move. Let's first begin with introducing what exactly is the Move. So the Move is founded by an African American male known as John Africa. He gave all his participations in the organization, members of the organization who were mostly African Americans, the last name Africa, in respect and the honor of their homeland, Africa. The Move organization believe in the practice of life. What is life exactly? Um, so anything that's raw or originally as the way they are in the natural world is considered life, such as fruits and trees or anything that's in the way that's from the natural world is considered life. And what is contrary, what is not life, is the technologies that we humans have developed, like the phone, the cameras, the computers. Anything artificial will be considered um, not appropriate in the MOVE's organization. So the film started with a Philadelphia Special Investigation Commission, which was hosted after 5 months after 1985 bombing, which is a crucial part of the film. Um, the Special Investigation Commission is highly irregular, as we see from the film. It is not like any courtrooms, it is open house. There are cameras, there are witnesses, but there are also audiences. So the documentary really revealed the and unfolded this incident in a very dramatic way, as it puts the storyline in different chapters. It began with an interview of one of the children who were a part of the Move organization. He is now known as Michael, who was one of the few kids that was raised in the Move organization. Um, we will know what happened to his family after the film, after I introduced the film. So in 1977, the Philadelphia police confronted a group of MOVE organization members in the Paulton Village property. So as we have talked about before, the MOVE organization does not believe in anything artificial, which means they will use the traditional or the original way of human living. They will use their stools to stack up and to raise fruits or vegetables and their foods, and they will not use light bulbs or anything that's technology. And their practice of religion is quite radical in some ways. This has led to complaints around the neighborhood. As we will see from the film, although most of the members in the MOVE organization are African American, it has been repeatedly told through our documentary that this is not a racial incident between the white community and the black community, uh, because many of the complaints that came to the Philadelphia police were actually from neighbors who were African Americans themselves, and so their radical practice of religions led to many curses and confrontations around their living area. And the police, after several negotiations and um, uh, arrests, has led to no choice, according to them, to confront the people who live in the blocking area. And because the situation has become very dangerous to the neighbors, as many of the MOVE organization members are carrying what is seen to be weapons, on the around their building blocks. And but this has become one of the few questions that remains to be discussed or argued, is that were these weapons really able to fire? Because as well as 1985 bombing, there was really no direct evidence that shows the MOVE members does possess um, harmful or firepower that's that really actually dangers themselves and the neighborhoods. But either way, the MOVE members in 1977, they made a deal with the police that they will leave the building and in exchange for the arrest members of their organizations. Unfortunately, some of the members refused to leave the building, and it led to a violence confrontation between the police and the MOVE organization. This ended up with a police officer being shot to death. This is another disturbing or arguable incident because no one really knew who shot him. The MOVE, the remaining MOVE members uh, believe that it was the police who shot the officer, but the police obviously have a different story. And this incident in the documentary was revealed as one of the most dramatic and violent scene in the film. As the movie shows, a member of the MOVE organization, after the confrontation has ended, Delbert Africa walked out of the building, and he was beaten and assaulted violently and terribly by the police officers who attempted to arrest him. Uh, this violence is just the beginning of uh, the upcoming more terrible and horrifying events in 1985. What caused or what led to the beating of Delbert Africa is unknown, but reasonably, I think it's because the deaths of the police officer and the fact that these MOVE organizations are so radical and stubborn, and the police aren't being so patient at the same time. So you can see since the beginning of this incident, each side has their reasons or ways of treating the event, and none of which, at least the most of their actions, both the police and the MOVE members, are not really giving too much a chance to a peaceful outcome. Um, so after 1977, the MOVE organization continued to grow, and as in 1985, the MOVE relocated to a roadblock buildings, also in the city of Philadelphia. And this time they have become even more threatening to the neighbors as they built bunkers on the top side of their buildings, and they would use speakers to just shout or curse at their neighbors. And more complaints were filed, and more confrontations uh, taken place, and finally, it all resulted in the violence in 1985 bombing. 500 police gathered around the date of May 13th, and they confronted the 13 members who live in the building. And after their final announcements, asking them to retreat to come out of the building, the MOVE members refused, and then 200 residents families were evacuated, and then became at least from what was seen from the film, it almost became a warfare between in that building block. The police tried to storm and enter the building, but only to meet resistance. Fires were shot, and apparently it took a long time, and the police weren't still able uh, to occupy the building and the bunker above. Um, and then at the beginning of this storm or this police movement, um, the officers or the directing or the leaders of this police groups, they believe that they were trying to resolve this situation peacefully. At least they try to um, move these 13 individuals out of the building. But as we see from the incidents that happened so far between the police, Philadelphia police, and the MOVE movement, nothing really resolved peacefully ever. Um, and after almost a few hours of confrontation, the police um, the police had another more violent idea in their mind, which is to drop a bomb on the top side of their building. This is the turning point, or at least the downfall of all situations, as we see from the footage from the documentary. A bomb was dropped on the top side of the building and exploded, creating a huge area of fire of burning. And what was even more brutal, at least I consider brutal, is that the police allowed the fire to continue to burn. And they were trying to, I believe at the moment they were no longer trying to arrest the members of the group members. They are trying to put them down in a way. And some other officers, to at least during the fire, during their no orders were given to put the fire out, and two officers even tried to corner the the group members by blocking their retreating routes from the side door. According to the documentary, few of the group members tried to escape, but they were shot at, and they were forced to retreat back to the fire. Um, as we could imagine, the 13 members of um, the 13 move members, and alongside with their children, and most were found dead after the incidents. And finally, after um, the fire was put out, um, the only two survivor of the move organization, Ramanda and Michael, they were rescued by Officer James and his partner. Unfortunately, that's what was left of the organization. And this incident was so notorious, and Philadelphia was given the name that city that bombed itself. Uh, there, I think throughout the entire film, which is very dramatic, and because uh, even though it is an investigation commission, um, the witnesses, the former members of the MOVE organization, they presented themselves, and from the way they're introducing their beliefs and organizations, they held the police responsible for the deaths of their friends or families. And it is apparent that the police officers, the 500 police on that day, on May 17th, 1985, took the wrong, or at least the most uh, unimaginable course to resolve this matter. And what was even more surprising is that none of the officials or the police during that incident were ever charged with any crimes, even though that um, it is considered horrifying, and what their actions is definitely seen as at least a crime or killing or to the members of MOVE. So yeah, that's basically what the movie talks about, and thank you very much.